Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, 32 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 32 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. You know, we've all had the roughest few years of our lives, right? All over the world, not just here. And I just need everybody to know someone is listening. We lost way too many people, and a lot through addiction. And I am a nutritional health coach. I'm also a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out, okay? You don't have to feel alone. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. And if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please, please reach out to me about that as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my sponsors before I introduce my incredible guest. Okay, Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer. His website, www.michaeldamore.com, and for $1.99 you can actually buy some of his songs. I always laugh because I'm a huge Elvis fan. Everyone knows that. And to me, Elvis is here, honey. Nobody could touch Elvis, right? But guess what? Michael D'Amore is close up and running under Elvis. That's how good he is. And I don't ever just say that. Okay? Carter Rubin also, who won The Voice, the youngest male a few years ago, he's right up there with Michael. So those two are the only two singers I've ever said that about, okay? All right. John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, celebrity, impersonator, actor, tribute artist. He was given the title, guys, by a past Philadelphia mayor, okay, as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. Imagine that. He is off the charts. I actually gave him the name, the man of many faces. He probably does about 40. And my two favorite, of course, is Rocky and The Godfather. I guess that's the Italian in me, right? His website, www.johnmonforto.com. Please check him out. You will not be sorry, okay? Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer. He is off the charts as an entertainer. He's a great singer, and I just love this guy. All right, so check him out as well, www.mzanman.com. This past Let East this year, I was the MC for them for Friday night, and Michael Zanman opened for Michael D'Amore, and we're repeating that next year, okay? Let East, check it out. Now, on a more serious note, Paula Ann from Ablaze Entertainment and Freedom Rings Festival, helping survivors of human trafficking to live a life of normalcy. www.freedomringsfestival.com. Please check it out, and if you could donate, that would be amazing as well. And the Geri Petito Show is also one of her sponsors. Last but certainly not least, Anthony Hudson, presidential candidate 2024, and Kevin Duncan, vice presidential candidate 2024, People Before Politics. Now, I usually don't get involved in politics, but there's a reason why I did this time. When they reached out to me, they told me they were running nonpartisan, and that's why I said yes. Now, not only did I get to meet them, They came live in studio a few times from Michigan. Anthony is a regular man. He's in his late 40s. He's a truck driver and just wants to make a difference here in this world. The president knows about him, and he got a photo with the president's wife, and the president would not come down and get a photo with him. Okay? And she said, "We know about you." So we are getting him heard. We've even done commercials for him here. But here's the best part. He invited me and Ruben, the other producer here at Hamilton Radio, to the borders in Yuma, Arizona this year. And we spent 5 days with them, the Border Patrol, and the Sheriff Department. And we got to see firsthand, guys, what's really going on. So if you want the truth, give me a shout out, because I have no problem telling you what I experienced. It changed my life, okay? So, having said that, guys, you know I always bring it, right? Well, I'm bringing it again, and this is really, really cool, because if you know anything at all about radio show hosts, they love hanging out with other radio show hosts, right? So, guys, I'm going to do something a little different that I used to do years ago. I'm going to read a poem I wrote about him, and then you're going to find out who he is. We're going to do it that way, okay? Okay. Here we go, guys. Rick Anthony, Someone You Should Know podcast is a really cool show. This guy, Rick Anthony, is someone you should know. He and I swapping interviews is really a lot of fun. Introduced by our boy John. We finally got it done. Rick Anthony is a hero. U.S. Air Force he proudly served. Hero is a title all our veterans deserve. He lost his wife of 40 years to lupus, a dreaded disease. His new wife Leslie saved him. God's voice she heard with ease. God told her very clearly his life he wants to end. His pain and suffering is winning. As his angel, it's you I'll send. By listening to God's voice, Rick's life has now healed. A devoted husband and father, God's promise was sealed. He gave his life to Jesus so he could now live free. He shines his light so brightly for everyone to see. That's for you, Rick.
Wow, that I got chill bumps on my arm.
That's
well
for you.
done.
That's for you. I will email it to you tonight.
Oh my goodness, that is so kind of you.
Yes.
That is just absolutely wonderful. Thanks, Jerry. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, we've spent some time, talking and hanging out on Zoom and all that, and it's just been crazy how much we do have in common. But I want you to tell everyone a little bit about who you are and about your podcast and why you named it that.
Well, let me see, Jerry. This all started when I was with the All-Star Radio Network. First off, I did 20 years in the Air Force. I was an announcer for Armed Forces Radio and Television right out of high school. And the day I retired, I actually signed on with the All-Star Radio Network. So I went from blue suit to blue jeans from Friday to Monday, the following Monday. And I spent 19 years at the All-Star Radio Network. And at one point during my tenure there, within the very first year or two, I got approached to do a show. They were doing something called Network 15. They needed 15-minute shows to be on the air. It was basically weekend fill-in stuff that stations could use. And there were 250 stations that signed up, a lot of mom and pop stations, a lot of small market stuff. But my boss came up to me and said, I need you to come up with a show. And what I did come up with was Someone You Should Know. Now, this is like 1999.
Okay.
When this first came through. So this actually went from like 1999 to 2004, I believe, on about 250 stations. It was a 15-minute interview show for individuals who really and truly would love to break into the music business, have what it takes, but are just not getting the love from the radio stations. I also opened it up to authors and very interesting people. And that's basically what I did. I just wrapped up 44 years of being on the radio last January 1st. So it's now a year that I've been off the radio. But one thing I have done is prior to my retirement, I decided to go ahead and bring back the program, the Someone You Should Know program. And what it's all about is we provide you interesting people, musicians and authors, and we're not limited to 15 minutes. We play the music, we talk about the books, we include the links, we do everything. In all honesty, the person that's a guest on the show actually has something to put in their portfolio. If you want to know something about them, this is as good as an electronic press kit because it's got all the music, it's got all the bio information, it's got links to their material and everything. So consider it as a
I'm not hearing you, Rick. Hold on.
okay.
There you go. I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. I'm not sure what that was all about. Jeez. Okay.
So
wait a
you
second.
said consider it.
Yeah. Consider it kind of an audio electronic press kit. It's one of those things that you could take with you, and if you've got a promoter that's interested in you, or someone that wants for you to be on their show or whatever, it is just everything is right there. I do my very best to give you a 100% polished, well done thing that you'd get like anything in a large market, and I offer it for absolutely no cost. It's done purely out of love. Oh, I just lost something there.
There you go. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I don't make $1 out of this. I just do it purely out of love, and that's what it's supposed to be about. I mean, it's basically individuals helping one another. I have made my fame in radio, and I don't need to be famous. I think I might have told you before, Jerry, before we even talked. It might have been a couple of weeks ago or so. I had an ego problem. And I took it to the Lord. I got to a point where I was listening to my shows as I got off the air, and I would be listening, and it's like I would be just so upset if I blew one break in a 5-hour show. It had gotten to where my ego was too bad. I mean, and then I'd be going out to dinner with people, and all I'd be talking about is all the people that I have interviewed and all the people I know, dropping names and such. And it got to be where people didn't want to hang out with me. I finally took it to Jesus. I said, hey, listen, I cannot do this, Lord. I cannot do this myself anymore. I'm tired of this. It's wearing me out. And it was just like I kind of bowed my head and I heard this, well, stop helping yourself and start helping others. And that's exactly what I did for like the last 12 to 15 years of my career. It was not about me being on the radio, but me being a moderator and host on the radio and helping the individuals who wanted to hear a song that would make their day, helping an individual who's got a business that would really and truly like a free plug or such, within the boundaries of, doing what management said I could do. You just whatever, just donating my time and helping things out. And it was all about give, or just share rather than, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's and that's basically what the show is all about. It's all about celebrating people that really and truly deserve a break. And that's what they get by being on my show for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour, whatever it might take to get the message out there. And that's basically my show in a nutshell. It evolved from something that I started back in 1999 to what it is today.
Okay, so, getting to know you a little bit now, I would never, ever have thought that about you in the past. Okay?
Yeah.
Never in a million years, okay? So we're similar sort of with that. I actually had to go to God to help me be a little less selfless. I was too selfless. I needed to be a little more selfish. Okay? My daughter would say to everyone, okay, if my mother ever hit the lottery, she has to be in charge because it would all be gone in a day. Okay? I'm learning how to be a little less selfless because people take advantage, right?
Yeah, they sure do, yeah.
They do, so I'm still very giving and I try to help everybody. But I'm trying to learn to have a little bit of a boundary for certain things,
Yeah, that's for sure. I got troubled all the time. Hey, you're on the radio? Oh, yeah, you're my friend on Facebook. Now that you're my friend on Facebook, can you get me 4 tickets to this particular show?
Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's usually when I say, hi, my name is Rick Anthony. No, I don't have any free tickets.
Oh, my God, that's so funny. Okay? Yeah. It's so great. All right, so now, can we talk about your age or you don't want to?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm 63.
All right. So, okay, and I'll be 63. And the reason why I do like to talk about our ages is because I like everybody out there to understand that it's never too late. I wrote my book in my 50s. Okay? I started radio in my 50s. It's never too late, guys. So, back when you were a lot younger, let's go back a little bit. I have a few questions for you.
Ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So when we
Go
were
ahead.
a lot younger, okay?
All right.
Musically, who were some of your, famous, favorite artists?
Favorite artist. There's a strange thing. I grew up listening to pop music because I listened to WLS in Chicago. It was a top 40 station. Top 40 station. So you got a lot of everything from Debbie Boone to ZZ Top. Okay, so you got a white spectrum of whoever was in the top 40 is what I heard and what I enjoyed. Then, as I got a little older, say for instance, like 20 in my 20s or so, I started appreciating. Well, first off, disco. Okay, disco.
Okay.
I was in the Air Force, but spinning disco at a station. So, and then I got into album-oriented rock, and I really and truly, it really opened my eyes. So I did that for, oh, good Lord, a long time. And then when I was working at one of those album rock stations, I got courted by a country station in town and said, hey, listen, we would love for you to come work for us, and we'll pay X number of dollars. And then that led me to another station, which was a union shop, which I had already been part of the SAG-AFTRA union. And I basically had, my ticket written. All I had to do was just sign on the line. And I was there for 13 years. And it's a big station in the world of country music. It's wound up winning the ACMs and CMAs for top station and top morning show many times. And that was WIL in St. Louis. I was there from 2006 to 2018. And I was a big part of what was going on there in a lot of the things that happened during the popular years of WIL. And I really and truly just absolutely love it. As far as music-wise, let me go ahead and tell you this.
Okay.
I grew up loving ABBA. ABBA was one of my favorite
Okay.
my favorite groups. I loved ABBA when they came out, Dancing Queen and Waterloo and SOS and all those great songs. But then I transitioned into the rock stuff, and my favorite band of all time is Rush.
Oh.
Rush is my favorite band, and matter of fact, I got for Christmas, Santa Claus got me the Geddy Lee book, and also got a 40th anniversary Rush DVD. So, so I get a chance to enjoy my musical journey a little bit more. But also bands, I loved Journey, I loved Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I still love the pop music too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's an ABBA tribute band that's coming to a local town. I think that my wife and I are gonna go see in February. So it's a broad spectrum. I like just about anything. I love good jazz. I love blues. I love blues music very much. I like just about anything. As a matter of fact, the show has taught me one thing. I've heard from people numerous years saying that music has died. Music died in the 70s. All the great music was written in the 70s. The podcast has taught me that there is still a lot of great music now, but you just have to look for it. And these artists are putting their love and passion and their craft into 3 minutes or 4 minutes of a piece of music. And I get a chance to showcase it on my show. This is just absolutely incredible. I get a chance to share with the world, and I mean the world because we're heard in 85 countries.
Yep.
And that floors me, 85 countries. I never would have guessed that. I was happy to see, I got 15 likes or something like that. No, I've 85 countries, over 1,900 cities. And I'm just dumbfounded by that. The show has just taken off. So if you say, for instance, you're in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and you've got an EP out of 4.
Okay, we're losing you again. Huh? It's on your end, Rick.
Can everyone hear me okay?
There you go. Okay. Yep.
I will sit on my hands then. I have a tendency to talk about that.
Yeah, it's technology.
If you're in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and you're trying to sell an EP of 4 songs, someone in Zimbabwe might wind up buying it.
Yep.
You never know because you never know where this place is heard. It kind of dumbfounds me on where we're being heard, and I'm just really excited and very grateful. Believe you me, I'm grateful that people are sharing this, and it's not like there's 85 cities or 85 countries listening to every podcast. It just basically means that since this show started in October of 2022 till today, they've at least tuned into one episode, and that's the way
it's amazing.
Buzzsprout ranks our stuff as far as that goes, and it's just so exciting to see who's going to be listening next and who's going to be on the show. Because as I always say, you never know who's going to be on, or you never know what's going to happen.
So okay, you didn't mention Genesis. Come on, you had to love Genesis.
I was a big Genesis fan in the late '70s and also in the early '80s.
Me too.
I love Peter Gabriel also, and I love Phil Collins.
Yes.
And his little thing. Of course, what they did with um, the Invisible Touch during that time frame, 85, 86, 87. A lot of great music through that time frame. I Can't Dance. That's a true song for me because I can't dance. My wife will justify that. Just some great music through the years from Peter Gabriel. And then Phil Collins, when
Follow
he
you, follow me.
yeah, love that. That was actually a song that my late wife and I had as one of our first love songs for one another back in 1970.
That's weird. I have to say this. That was my love song with my daughter's dad, our first one, and he passed away in November. So my late
Oh.
ex, and that was our favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
Well,
crazy?
and
Another
see, we
thing.
got a lot of parallels.
Okay.
As my wife said after I finished talking with you last time was, she's your sister from another mister.
Crazy.
Plain and simple.
That's weird. So continue.
Yeah. So like I say, Genesis. Yeah, I love Phil Collins' stuff that he's done on solo work too has been absolutely phenomenal
Amazing.
too. How about you, Jerry? What are some of your favorites? Who were some of your favorite artists?
Okay, so everyone that you mentioned, except for Rush, I really wasn't a Rush fan.
I
but,
understand it. It's
know,
one of those that either you do or you
yeah.
don't.
I mean, I loved. All right, so we're the same age, and I always say I was born too late because my favorite, of course, is oldies, doo-wop, and Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I'll buy that too.
Okay, but I grew up loving the same music as you as well. You can't take that out of us, no matter what. You can't take
Absolutely.
that out of us. And forget it. Genesis. I mean, Jethro Tull, right? Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah,
forget it.
absolutely,
You can't.
yeah.
So, but as I got older, I started loving all kinds of music as well, even jazz. Soul. I mean, so I could say I love all. The only music I do not love, and I want to share something with you about this, is rap. So in 2016, I believe, I got a message on Facebook from a young black rapper from Trenton, New Jersey. And his name was Randy Shank. And he said, Miss Jerry, I'm starting out and I want to get noticed. Do you think you could interview me? I'm from Trenton. And I was like, okay, young man, but can you keep it clean? He said, absolutely. So he came live in studio with a couple other artists. And not only did they keep it clean for me, I actually asked them, why does there have to be so much profanity in this? And why is there so much, right? To me, it's horrendous. And this is what he said. He said, Miss Jerry, we all have a story to tell, and our stories need to be told. And unfortunately, for some of us, this is the only story we know. When he told me that, he owned a piece of my heart. To this day, he's now down south. He has a family. He now goes by Six Director. He is a producer, a director, and he'll message me and say, Miss Jerry, I'm trying to keep it clean for you. And he surprised me a year ago in studio when he came in to visit fam. I love him. But he made me get it, Rick. I don't
Right, I have
listen
a hard
to it,
time-
but at
that's the
least I
problem.
get it.
Yeah, occasionally I'll get a rap artist coming my way, and I'll say the thing is I don't think I can truly appreciate it to give you the type of show that I put on. I don't think I can get it correctly.
Yeah.
Now I have had some artists that have actually done some rapping in their songs and such, but I really truly don't think I can appreciate it
Right.
as from my standpoint. I really
Right.
I just don't
I
get
get it.
Yeah, and that's just it. As far as I'm not trying to keep anyone, because the thing is I love about the shows, I'll take in anyone. I'll take in just about anyone. It's just it has to be clean for one thing, just like you.
Me too.
As far as that goes, and that's just it. As far as, and if they're I'm going to kill cops or I'm going to burn a cross or burn a flag, you're not
do
gonna
it.
get points with me as far as that goes, because
No.
At any time that people don't stand for the national anthem, I stood so many retreat ceremonies and reveille ceremonies and such, raising that flag in the morning and saluting that flag when the taps are played at the end of the day and such. I really have a lot of respect for that flag, and I really and truly think people, I actually had an individual. Actually, I wrote a bit that I did a blog post on. It was called "Can You Spare 90 Seconds?" Okay. And it was all about standing for the national anthem, because I went to a blues hockey game, and people were still on their phone while the national anthem was playing, and I'm going, Come on, it's 90 seconds. 90 seconds of your life. Show a little respect. Okay, that's all I'm asking. And if I'm turning anyone off here by that, it's just because I'm speaking from a military standpoint because I did my time and I have really great reverence for anyone who's in the military, anyone who's served, anyone who's serving currently now, or anyone who's died for their country. And that flag means a lot to me. Might not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me.
You're not offending anyone. My dad's whole family came from Italy, right? 100 years ago, you know. My uncle, he's going to be 80 years old in February, and he's still with us, and he was a Marine, a U.S. Marine. And I'll never forget what him and my dad said to me when I was only in my 20s. And I didn't understand it then, but of course I understand it now. They said, we were born in Italy, yes. Italy is our birth country, but the United States of America is our country. And I'll never forget that. You know, so I feel the same way you do. And I just hope people out there teach their younger generations how important that is.
Oh, it is, absolutely. And, you know, I understand how things have changed so much. But getting back to music and how certain things, you got a song like Baby It's Cold Outside, which no longer gets played on the radio.
No kidding.
But Cardi B's
That's right.
WAP can play.
Okay, I don't get it. I don't even understand. Wait, let me ask you this.
Yeah,
Hold
go
on,
ahead.
I have a question for you. You can answer this before I can.
Oh, I hope I can.
Okay, so how? Who makes those laws and rules, and why who?
It's corporate programming, corporate programmers, and that's just it. It's way above my pay grade. I used to be program director and ops manager for several stations through the years, and I got a chance to choose the music. But the thing is, you know what I did? I did by selection by committee. I would sit down with a couple of my jocks, and at a meeting, and I would say, okay, this is a couple songs we're considering for rotation. I want everyone's feedback on it. It wasn't my own feedback. It was by committee. And I never picked songs that I found offensive. I never found any demeaning songs, any offensive songs, any, you know, I'm going to, take you out and beat you up songs, especially country, or don't deface my truck songs. But I always found those. A lot of people consider me just maybe a little too vanilla as far as that goes. I don't do things that are, let's just say Howard Stern-esque. You know, I do things that are, I'm considered by many as to be everybody's best friend. You know, and that's just it. When I made selections like that, and then when we wound up going higher and higher up the food chain, corporate programmers took all the information out of us, or all the abilities out of us, and they said these are the songs they're going to play. And it got to a point where it's like, well, what about these great songs from local artists that should be on here? No, these are the songs that are going to be played, plain and simple. And our hands are tied. I have a lot of people call up and say, listen, can you play this song? I'd really and truly love to play this song. If I've got it in the computer somewhere, I'll try to play it as far as that goes. But odds are it's not going to get played. And the reason why I say that is because corporate programming says you're going to play these particular songs in this particular order because that's exactly how our formula works.
All right. I mean, I could understand if there was something across the board as far as criteria. Mm-hmm. But like you said, that
FCC,
song
I don't know
can't
if
be
the
played
FCC
out.
even it has any meanings on it anymore
Right.
because of
That's my point.
And I was told about payola and such. I just know there's a lot of songs getting a lot of play that really and truly don't deserve to be on the radio, and a lot of songs that should be on the radio that aren't. And that's what my show is. I fill the gap there as far as these are the songs that should be on the radio, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that's what it is.
I have a cool question for you because I do want to hear some of the really cool people you've interviewed. So tell me some.
This whole show, the reason why I'm doing the podcast is because of this. When I was married to my wife of nearly 40 years, she knew everyone that I interviewed because I would talk about, hey, talk to her today, talk to him today. So we're driving in the car, and a band comes on, and I was telling my wife Leslie that I have a great story regarding that particular person, and she goes, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then we'll watch something on TV, and I said, well, I talked to him and I talked to her. And she goes, you talk to everybody. And I said, well, I got lucky when I was at All-Star Radio for 19 years. I got the opportunity. This is so cool. I got the opportunity to do all the interviews of all the celebrities and musicians and such. I got a chance to do all those. And then what I do is I'd cut my audio out, and I would put in the questions that the jocks are supposed to ask and farm these down to these mom and pop stations that couldn't get Tom Selleck, but here's Tom Selleck on somewhere in Dubuque, Iowa. It's like, well, Tom Selleck's on our show this morning. Here's the questions you're supposed to ask to lead into the statements and such. And then we have little contests and stuff like that. So that's how it all worked for the All-Star Radio Network. It was just one of the coolest things is to provide the content. And I'm the one that got to be the one that got to do all the interviewing. And it was just so great. People I've interviewed. I've interviewed almost everybody on the set of MASH, on the show MASH. When I talked to Alan Alda, I think that was probably one of my high water marks. And the reason why I say that is because my dad and I, when I was a teenager, we were often button heads and everything like that. But one common thing that we did is when MASH came on, I always sat right next to him and we watched MASH together. So that was a father and son. That was a father and son melding event. That every time that I watched MASH, I thought of my dad. And also Monty Python was another one. It would air on Sunday nights in Chicago at 10 o'clock after the kiddies were supposed to be in bed. But I would be watching Monty Python on WTTW in Chicago, Channel 11, the public service station, a public television station there. And I would be watching Monty Python. So I got a chance to talk to Eric Idle. I got a chance to talk to Terry Gilliam. I got a chance to talk to, Michael Palin. I didn't get a chance to talk to Cleese. John Cleese is one I've always wanted to talk to, but I got a chance to talk to quite a few of them. And it was just a real thrill to do that, and I enjoyed that. You name a musician, I think I've talked to them. And
so
at least one point in my career or another, because it's just the coolest thing. I didn't, as much as I love Rush, I haven't talked to any of the members of Rush.
Oh, come on!
I've not talked to Getty or Alex, and it's too late for Neil because he's up in rock and roll heaven right now. But I have talked to so many great musicians. As a matter of fact, next month on my show, we had a Rush tribute band come to town, and I talked to the drummer who played the role of Neil Peart on stage. So you'll get a chance to hear that. It's the Rush Experience. You'll hear that on my show in the month of January, so next month.
So that's really cool.
It's just amazing because we were watching just Christmas movies and such. And I'm going, I talked to them, so I'm at least 1 degree of separation from just about everybody because I've talked to someone it's like you're 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon type thing. I can do most of them in about 3 or 2 because I've just talked to so many people and I've just been so blessed. And another show that I did a couple of years later was called Back in the Pits with Rick Anthony. The National Hot Rod Association never really had a national show, and a lot of times on TV they get preempted by girls softball or whatever. They never got the notoriety that they really and truly enjoyed until much later. But I did a show from 2003 to about 2008 or 2009. It was called Back in the Pits with Rick Anthony. And what I would do is I would go to many of these races. They had 23 events. We usually attend about 10 of those. And the rest of them we do over the phone. And we would do a daily 90-second bit called Back in the Pits with Rick Anthony. All the drivers. And it was just amazing. I had a chance to do that. And then when we go out to these events, we'd wind up being set up in one of these pit areas, and you see these signs all through the pit areas. Come see Rick Anthony interview such and such and such today at the Don Schumacher racing pit or Don Schumacher team or the John Force team or whatever. It was just so much fun. And my wife would go with me on these trips too, and because she'd do a lot of the coordinating. Here's the weirdest thing that has changed that I think is just the coolest thing, Jerry, is back in the day when I was in my heyday, I was pulling like 2 or 3 drums or tubs of gear. I would have my recorders, I would have my cables, I would have my microphones, I would have all the banners, everything. By the time I was finished, I was holding a microphone that had an SD card in it, and we were just doing this. That's all we needed. How things changed through the years.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, you mean from the beginning to
from all the gear that you've got there.
Gosh.
Imagine just having a microphone, like a Zoom microphone that had an SD card in it. You just take the information like that, just put it in your computer.
So I got to interview Don K. Reed, and I got to meet Cousin Brucey, and he's promising me an interview. But what I did talk to Don about was exactly what you just were talking about, how different it was back then. I mean, him and Cousin Brucey started this in the tri-state area. You know what I mean? And
spinning 45s and taking putting calls on reel-to-reel tapes. Yep.
It's crazy. And now Cousin Brucey's still doing it, and Don was doing it online. They were doing internet, and I was like, this is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's great. I've had the great honor. One of the things that I really and truly like to do on my show is to reach out to some of my radio heroes. I grew up in Chicago, and it's I got into this field because of my brother. My brother was a teen DJ in downtown in Gary, Indiana,
Oh,
and he was like 16. He got a chance to be on um, WGRY, I believe, was with Jerry Gerard and such. So he was a teen DJ, and he got me listening to radio differently. Instead of listening to the songs, I was listening to the personalities. And I
okay.
grew up with John Records Landecker. I grew up with Larry Lujak. I grew up with a lot of the great names in Chicago radio, Tommy Edwards and Steve King and Jeff Davis and Fred Winston. I grew up on that, and the thing is, I was listening to that, and then I wound up imitating them with my dear friend. And we'd, like Friday after school, we'd grab whatever was in the top 10 that week at the local record store, head back home, meet after dinner, and then for 90 minutes or so, we'd spin records and wind up doing basically which would be considered impromptu comedy. And we were taking stuff from Saturday Night Live and taking things that we heard on the radio, things that we heard here, there, and something from George Carlin or something from Bill Cosby or something that we heard from Lenny Bruce or something like that, and just making bits and having a great time. There was one thing I wound up getting for Christmas. I got a sound effects record from Radio Shack. And we decided to do the whole show with sound effects as far as that was. We played the songs, but we'd have, someone would drop something like you heard like a ukulele, and it's like, well, we're in Hawaii right now, and we're doing this particular invitation for you to come on out to Hawaii. It just things right off the cuff, and it's like, I had no idea. And it's strange, when I was talking to all these announcers, a lot of them started the very same way. And I got lucky because I got a lot of them digitized. I had a lot of them on cassettes, and I wound up transferring them to digital, and I got a chance to give that to my dear friend. I used to, share my time with my buddy Darren. He and I would do so many things together, and that was the one thing that really and truly got me to where I am today, as far as that goes, is doing those shows and interviewing all the celebrities that I am now. It's like we all did the same thing. We all talked into a little cassette recorder with right next to your mom and dad's stereo speakers, and like this, be talking in there, we go like this, and yeah, it was just so much fun, and I really and truly treasure those times, and it really and truly made me who I am today. I love doing funny things, and Leslie knows that. My wife Leslie knows that I have a nasty habit of ruining songs, songs that she might love or whatever like that, because of songs that we have parodied at All Star Radio through the years. And a lot of them. There was one we did that was. What was the song? The little red spot. There's a little red spot on the sun today from the Police. And so the little red dot on my nose today. It was getting bigger than it was yesterday. It was all about skin cancer. So we did a song about skin cancer that was parodied to a Police song. So it was just we had just a lot of fun. And that was the one thing I really enjoyed about being with the All Star Radio Network for those 19 years. I had creative freedom to do whatever I wanted, basically. It's like, hey, this is the idea. We're looking for this week. Okay, what are we going to do? And then I come to my boss Ron about it. Hour later, I'm going, how's this? He goes, perfect. We just need someone to do the voice. Okay, and we have a person on staff that could do anyone from. They did both parts of Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond doing "You Don't Bring Me Flowers."
That's pretty cool.
That kind of range. They could do anything. They could do literally. They were just literally a chameleon, like Rich Little. Or
that's pretty cool.
Or more recently, gosh, what's his name? Like, he had his own show. I can't remember his name. The guy used to do the John Madden ones. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
And I had him on my show. Doggone it. Anyways, but I had him on my show. Doggone it. Anyways, but it was just, we're very, very blessed to have that person on staff. What was that?
So.
Oh, I'm here.
I have a question. I have a question before we forget. How can people reach out to you? Give them anything you have, website, all that. I don't want to forget to do that. Wait, I can't hear you. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm hearing myself here. Let me go ahead and take my headphones off for a second. What you need to do is go to Someone You Should Know podcast. Someone You Should Know podcast.com. And there you get a chance to see what the show is all about and everything like that. If you'd like to go ahead and send me an email, it's basically the same thing. Someone You Should Know podcast at gmail.com. But Someone You Should Know podcast at gmail.com. I'm on all of the streaming network platforms. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I think that's all of them. But I'm on just about everything. And I like to hear from you. If you are a musician, by all means, send your information to someone you should know podcast at gmail.com. And my crew and I will review it, and we'll get back to you and we'll get you scheduled.
Okay, so I have someone who wants to say hello to you.
Okay, someone wants to say hello.
Someone wants to say hello. Let me redial because I think I hung up on him. Hold on.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of echo here.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. I hung up on him. Come on, answer the phone. You did just call. All right, we might be having issues with him as well. So John Terlizzi was calling to say hello to you. So John, we love you. I want to thank you for the connection.
John, I love John.
Amazing. John Terlizzi, he's my stalker on Facebook and I love him. Thank you for this incredible connection.
He emails me about 4 or 5 times a day, and I get a chance to interview a lot of the great guests that he has on his, his corral of great stars and such. And I really appreciate John. He's a really good guy, and he really works hard for all of the people that are part of his talent group.
So Rick, we're coming to the close of the show, and I want to first of all say thank you so much for honoring me as well. So we had a blast together. Now, when will our interview be out?
It's the end of January. I'll make sure that you know ahead of time.
Okay.
And that way you can go ahead and share that with your audience.
All right, so this is going to be cool.
And I'll make sure that you get
Yes, swapping interviews is amazing. Thank you. We're getting some reverb.
Thank you so much, Geri. I mean, you've been an absolute delight.
We're getting a little bit of reverb, but I still want to give you the mic before we close. I want you to take a couple minutes and say anything you'd like to say to the listening audience.
I want to first thank Geri, and I want to thank Hamilton Radio for putting the show on. It's just a really, really cool thing. And be sure you tune into this lovely lady. She's just an absolute delight. She's trying to help people out. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. If you are a musician, if you're an author, or if you're just an interesting person who can, I had a guy on that was able to, he was one of the original found car people in the Ringling Brother and Barnum and Bailey circus. So if you've got some kind of interesting thing, not a stupid human trick like Letterman used to have, but if you've got something like that, get in contact with me. Someone you should know podcast at gmail.com. Someone you should know podcast at gmail.com. And I'd love to hear from you. We'll do our very best to highlight you on an upcoming episode of Someone You Should Know. It's all done for you. I don't charge you a penny. I do it purely out of love. And it's exactly what Geri does. She does it purely out of love. She's one of God's great disciples, and I really love that lady. And I guess she's a sister from another mister. And Geri, I thank you so much for allowing me to be on your show today.
So everybody, Rick Anthony, the Someone You Should Know podcast. Listen, I love this guy. He's amazing, okay? And everything he's doing is out of his heart, guys. So reach out to him because I had a blast with him, all right? He was one of my favorite interviews, and that's going to be shown at the end of January.
Thank you, sweet.
Please, please, please share this video. Reach out to Rick Anthony, everybody. And again, thank you, Rick, for honoring me today with this incredible interview. And thank you for honoring me with you interviewing me as well. Thank you, sweetheart.
God's blessings to you. I wish you a very happy and safe 2024. And I wish you a happy, healthy New Year and a very prosperous show for 2024.
Happy New Year to everyone out there listening. Doc G, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.